Sellers are calling all the shots right now. Hey, thanks for tuning back in. So today's market update is about what's going on with our current market, and the sellers are calling all the shots. So I'm going to jump right in and talk to you guys about kind of what's going on since our last time that you've seen a video from me. So inventory right now is at the lowest levels I've ever seen in my entire career. In fact, inventory right now is down 65% in comparison to 18 months ago. We have just over 2,400 properties in the entire county of Orange. We were just over 7,000 in June of 2019. That was a low inventory year. So in terms of inventory, it's very, very limited. And we continue to talk about the supply and demand issue. When there's really low supply, demand is very high, and that's what we're seeing. To add fuel to this fire, interest rates are historically low, ranging between the mid to high twos. So right now, the cost to borrow money is lower than ever, which means affordability has never been higher. And so the lack of inventory with the super low cost of borrowing money has created a massive amount of demand. And like I said, I've been selling real estate for 15 years and I've never seen a market this aggressive. So today what I want to talk about is what we're seeing out in the field, right? As a listing agent, what are we seeing that buyers are offering my sellers? And as a buyer's agent, what are we doing to set our buyers up to win when there's multiple offers? So to jump right in, right now, if a home looks good and is priced anywhere near market value, we're expecting multiple offers and we're expecting the price of the home to exceed the actual list price. Homes are selling now for prices that the recent sales can't even justify, that appraisers can't even justify. Sometimes homes are selling for 5 to 10% more than the last home that sold on that street or in that neighborhood because there's just nothing else available. And if you've ever heard any of my videos, you've heard me say a home is worth whatever a buyer is willing to pay, whether the comps justify it, whether the appraiser can justify it. In this market, it seems that 9 out of 10 buyers don't even care anymore. They're just offering a price that's gonna beat all the other buyers out. So on the offers that we're getting, we're seeing offers above asking price, and many times these buyers are removing the appraisal contingency. And what that means is they're telling the seller, hey, listen, if the appraiser comes in with a lower value, that's okay. We'll pay the difference because we really want your place. That's gonna give the seller peace of mind and help a buyer stand out from the competition. We're seeing super short inspection periods. So on a standard California offer, generally you have about 17 days to do all your inspections, including the appraisal, and you have 21 days to get conditional loan approval on your loan. Nowadays, we're seeing buyers doing inspections in as little as 5 days, sometimes 10 days. We're seeing appraisal contingencies either waived or shortened. And we're seeing loan contingencies shortened down to 14 days. And in some extreme situations, many buyers who have gone through the underwriting process with their lender for their pre-approval, they're even removing their loan contingency. We're seeing the most aggressive buyers coming in and saying, hey, we want to buy your property. This is our offer. And the only contingency we have in place is our inspection contingency, which is just going to be 5 days. So it's buyers are extremely aggressive and the competition is fierce. We're seeing buyers offering to buy the home as is, which means they're not going to ask for any repairs or credits after they do a home inspection. We're seeing buyers waiving their termite clearance, which means they'll buy the home and they'll deal with termite later. We're also seeing buyers offering free rent backs to sellers, right? And what that means is they know the seller has to sell this property to be able to buy their next property. And maybe the seller hasn't identified their next property yet. So the seller needs a 1 or 2 or 3 months as a rent back. We're seeing a lot of buyers offering a free rent back or a discounted fee rent back, right? And what that does is in the past, typically if there was a rent back, the seller would pay the buyer the cost of owning that property. Nowadays, buyers are saying, well, hey, if I give this seller a free rent back, it's gonna cost me about $3,000 and it adds more value to the seller's bottom line and gives the seller peace of mind that they can make a smooth transition. We're also seeing in extreme situations, buyers who don't have the ability to go higher in price because they don't want to have too many appraisal issues. They're offering to pay some or all of the seller's closing costs as a way to help the seller net more money. So, I mean, that's a lot here, guys. In many extreme situations, we're seeing buyers offer all of that to the seller. So the sellers are really in the driver's seat right now. The sellers are getting everything they want. So What does that all mean if you're a seller? Well, look, if you're a seller and you only want to sell your home and you don't want to buy another piece of real estate, you can cash in big right now. I mean, if you're ever going to shoot for the moon and try to get a price that may not be justifiable based on the recent sales, now is the time. If you're a seller that is looking to sell a property and buy something, the challenge you're going to be facing is, as a seller, you're going to absolutely crush it. You're going to get everything you want and more as long as you hire a great agent and you use the right strategy. But when you turn into a buyer, depending on what price range you're looking in, you could be presented with many challenges, and you will certainly have to do everything that your buyer did on your purchase to be able to get the home that you want to buy. And the reason why we're having such limited inventory right now is that there are so many sellers that want to sell and buy something new, but since there's nothing out there for them to buy, they're hesitant on listing their property, and that's creating a bottleneck in the marketplace. So there are several strategies around being able to sell and buy in our current market. If you're interested in selling, whether it's just to sell and liquidate or sell to buy, please reach out to me. We've got so many different strategies to set you up to win. Now, moving over to the buyers. If you're a buyer out there, you've got your work cut out for you. It's very competitive. In fact, if you were to submit an offer on a property, it wouldn't be shocking to know that there's 15 to 30 other buyers that want that same property, and you're gonna get stuck in a bidding war. We have so many different ways to put our buyers in a position to where they're gonna get the seller's attention. Whether we use all the strategies I talked about today or some of the strategies. Real estate is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's a case-by-case basis. Some or all these strategies may apply. Maybe none of them will apply, but we won't know until we know more about you, your ability to buy, and what property you want to buy. At the end of the day, guys, the moral of the story here is you working with an expert right now who understands this market and understands how to navigate this market is going to be in your best interest. A lot of buyers and sellers spend a lot of time kind of doing their own due diligence, looking up information, trying to figure it all out, and wasting time. Right now, time is money, especially if you're a buyer. So thank you guys for taking the time to hear me out today. If you have any specific questions about the video that I made, please reach out to me. If you're thinking about buying or selling, we'd love the opportunity to learn more about you and offer our assistance. If you have any video ideas you ever want me to talk about in the future, send those my way. And if you found this video on social media, give me some social media love. Until next time, happy selling.